Okay, folks, it's your buddy Mike Messier, Mike's Instant Movie Review. First, I tell you, should you go see this movie, should you go not, in the first minute. And then when I start saying spoilers, that's your cue. If you're going to go see the movie, put my review on pause, go see the movie, and don't forget to come back after you've seen the movie, because then it'll be like your buddy talking into your ear, telling you what he thought. You can compare my notes with your notes, my thoughts and analysis with your own. So, do you understand how this works? I'm going to tell you whether you should see it or not. The movie is Abigail. If you like vampires, if you like horror films, yeah, go see it. I mean, a lot of horror people pretty much see anything. I'm kind of like that. And so, this is definitely worth seeing. Also, the best possible screen, Dolby Digital. If you're not a horror enthusiast, you can skip this one. But for horror fans, go see it. Now let's talk about it. Okay, spoilers. First of all, when I hear Abigail, it just occurred to me. Annabelle is what I was thinking of from the Conjuring films. So this whole time, until just now, I had the revelation that I was wondering, why are they calling this movie Abigail? Because there's another Abigail in the horror genre recently, but it's not another Abigail. It's Annabelle from the Conjuring universe, which I hate that term. Abigail's a good name for a movie. So, for whatever reason, either I didn't see the preview for this one a whole lot, or I didn't spoil myself. Like, I didn't watch anybody else's review. I didn't read any reviews. I saw little thumbnails of people on YouTube. Oh, big horror film, whatever the fuck. And I avoided watching anyone else's review. That's typically what I do. If I'm going to see a movie, I want to go in as a fresh, clean slate. I don't want any information. I don't even like it when people tell me if they like a movie. Oh, Mike, blah, 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 this, don't tell me, So I go in, fresh as a fucking daisy. I've got my perfect seat, my perfect chosen seat in the back of the theater where I like to sit. Nice reclining chair. It's a Sunday night. It's 10 o'clock. It's a wonderful time to see a horror film. And I'm not even, because when the movie starts, it's basically like a throwback to, what was the one with Tarantino and whoever the fuck, George Clooney from Dusk Till Dawn. You think you're watching one genre of film, and then you take a switch of gears, and suddenly you're in a vampire type of film. So what we think we're seeing for the first 15 minutes or so, 15 or 20 minutes or so, is a abduction movie. A hodgepodge group of criminals put together. No one can use their real name. No, I've seen that done in other films. Like the fucking Reservoir Dogs, Mr. Pink, Mr. Blue. A friend of mine used that same technique in a movie that he did that was based on historical facts. So that whole thing of like a ragtag bunch of criminals put together, no one can use their real name. You know what I mean? And here's a trend that we're going to see in this movie. It's a good movie. Abigail. I mean, it looks great. It sounds great. The special effects are awesome. The little girl playing the fucking Abigail is great. Spoilers, folks. Here we go. Spoilers. What I didn't like about this fucking movie, are you still with me? Did you go see the movie and you came back? Basically, it's about, in my opinion, about 20 minutes too long. Maybe 25. I feel like it's one of those one too many, Japanese wrestling matches, false finishes, 1995, Tenryu versus whoever the fuck. It's just, if you don't know what that is, if you're a wrestling fan, One Pro Wrestling and Sports Fan is my pro wrestling and sports channel. Basically, in Japanese wrestling, they had this type of style in the mid-90s. I think it was called the Victory Road style, or the Champions Road, or something like that, in All Japan Pro Wrestling, where the matches would just go on for fucking ever, like 45 minutes to an hour, and there'd be all these false finishes. What's a false finish? It's when you think the match is going to end because some guy just delivered some awesome move, but the other guy kicks out at 2 3/4, and you do that 10 or 12 times. And I feel like this movie basically gets to that point, okay? Where we have one too many twists, one too many turns, one too many characters popping in out of nowhere, i.e. in this one, the father character. I mean, I think once he shows up, it's kind of a letdown. You know what I mean? I don't know if it was supposed to be some big reveal. I don't know if I'm missing something. If this father is supposed to be, is he from another movie? Am I missing something? Is he supposed to be an ode to like the original fucking whoever the fuck who played Dracula? I mean, just whatever it was supposed to be, it was just lost on me. It wasn't that impressive, except the guy was tall. So, I mean, I think we could have done without the father showing up at the end. Abigail, like I said, she's pretty much the centerpiece, and I have this thing. I'm impressed with kid actors. I always go back to Heather O'Rourke from Poltergeist. Such a tragedy. The young lady who did such an awesome job in the Poltergeist movies, and she died at a young age. I'm concerned about these kid actors who play these fucking creatures, like the Chuckies and the Megans, and I know some of them are not even real actors. They're just props or whatever the fucks. But with this, there's an actress playing Abigail. I mean, she's probably having a fucking ball, quite honestly. She's probably having the time of her life, and she gets to be like the cool kid at school. Yeah, you're fucking Abigail. Can you imagine being in that kid's 7th grade class and like, oh my God, we go to school with fucking Abigail. Like, that's kind of cool. Like, that's what do you call that? Riz or swag or fucking street cred, wherever you fucking kids call it. But can you imagine being like the kid who's the star of the fucking horror movie? Of course, those kids probably like have tutors and homeschooling in LA or whatever the fuck it is. Probably a part of, what's that thing? The Monarch stuff, the fucking, the Monarch, stuff. Anyway, MK Ultra, probably, you know what I mean? They're probably MK Ultra kids, whatever is going on with that, if you know what I'm talking about. So anyway, but I mean, the kid does a great job in this movie. I'm only kidding. The kid's I thought a great kid actress. I mean, but yeah, I mean, she's probably having a great fucking time, to be honest with you, doing this stuff. And, but yeah, it's 12 pounds of shit in a 10-pound bag. It's like, the movie to me, I mean, I started to give it my little evaluation. Like I give these things a 5-star rating, and with like 30 or 40 minutes left, I'm thinking, oh, this is like a 3 3/4, maybe even a 4-star horror film here. But then it just keeps dragging on and on. And maybe it's because I saw the movie Sunday night at 10 o'clock at night. It's pushing midnight by the time this thing is coming to an end. But even still, I just feel like the movie, 20 minutes too long, 32 minutes too long. And I know what happens. I've been on film sets. I've written screenplays. I'm an actor myself, fine folks. If you don't believe me, look me goddamn up. But I'm telling you, you got to know when to say when. And this is the test. You ready? When the movie fucking ends, if you want more of that movie, like you're like, I want more. That movie's successful. Like that, whatever genre it is, it's a comedy, it's a drama, it's a historical biopic, it's a horror. If the movie ends and you want more of it, that's a good movie. If the movie ends and you're relieved, like, oh, okay, we can leave now. Thank you. Oh God, let's go home. Then, especially a movie like this, which is good and it's highly entertaining on its levels of being a horror film. But once the movie ended, I'm glad it's over. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad that this movie was over because I'm sick of it. I'm tired of the fucking movie. But there's another element to this. And I think where the movie, for me, lost its steam, it's Frank. And all these, it's so cutesy. Like, oh, the characters are named after the Rat Pack. But yet some of the characters don't know who the Rat Pack is because we're using an illusion from the 1950s or the 1960s, and these characters are dumb. So they don't, or, they're modern day fucks, so they don't know who the Rat Pack is or whatever the fuck. But you got your Sammy, you got your, this one, that one. And then it's like an illusion of there's a cat in the fucking parking lot. There's like street cats in this neighborhood. So, we have all these things of these, we have all these things going on, and it's like Frank turns, like the big thing throughout the movie is Frank and Sammy are always squabbling. Sammy's the female, she's the emotional center. She's in her own life, she's a mom. There's so many things I can analyze here. Basically, the reason why this movie's not getting more stars from me is because I did not give a flying shit about any of the characters except for Abigail. Like, she's the only fucking one I'm sympathetic to, is the vampire kid. You know what I mean? The human beings, they're just lambs to the slaughter, and I'm cheering for the slaughter. And that's the goddamn thing. If they had just made the movie where, okay, let's just cheer for this little demon chick to kill these people, then they should have just kept it like the criminals were just bad and evil and not redeemable. But they try to make them sympathetic or empathetic or whatever the fuck. So they just trot out the same old goddamn cliches. Oh, this one has a kid and she's a former junkie and she's trying to get her son back, but her son's with his loser father. Well, everyone's got oh, he's a former military detective. This one's, everyone's got she's a rich girl who does tech. And, they try to like squeeze in this storyline bullshit for us to care. Like, oh, I relate to that. I relate to the rich girl who's a computer hacker. So when she gets killed and when she becomes a vampire, I'm going to give a flying shit. Well, if you really wanted to push that point, do some little vignettes, some little flashback vignettes. You know what I mean? Since we're here, you know what I mean? Since you're going to make a 2-hour movie anyway, like, show me the fucking mom, Sammy, with her fucking kid in some flashback sequence or whatever the fuck. Because I don't care. Like, you can just, oh, here's a picture of her with her kid on her screensaver on her phone. Oh, I'm emotionally connected. Sorry, these shortcuts don't work. These shortcuts don't work. That's all it is. They're trying to make me feel connected to these characters with these little shortcuts, and I'm not buying it, folks. You're not earning my emotions, okay? So that's why the movie, as great as it is visually, as fun as the kills can be, which is another horror movie thing, like, and I did like in this movie, even with like the sleazy Eminem guy, like, the scumbag guy who dies first, and it kind of felt like they just killed him first so that they didn't have to actually kill the black guy first. Like, didn't it feel like that? Like, kind of a throwback, like, oh, we can't kill the black guy first, so kill Eminem first and then kill the black guy second. So to me, and like the black guy had nothing going for him. Like, he had no fucking storyline. He's just there to die. So, I mean, I don't know. I can't say this movie, why this movie, none of the reasons coming up, the Frank stuff. But basically, I felt no emotional connection to any of the fucking characters except the fucking vampire kid, because I thought she was cool. Like, I was thinking, like, I want to see fucking Abigail versus Megan. Like, the robot Megan and the vampire Abigail fighting the fuck out of each other. They look like the same thing in some regard. That would be a good little fight. I mean, young white women are scary. Let's be honest. You know what I mean? Like, that's the new trend. Like, every year now has to have some scary young white woman or white kid woman, whatever the fuck. White girl. Like, white girls are scary. How's that for a fucking Damon Brothers, Wayans Brothers movie? White girls are scary. They could do the whole scary movie parody thing over again. Just call it White Girls Are Scary. Wow, I should be writing these goddamn films. So anyway, another thing. And I do write scripts. One Man and a Camera Films. One Man and a Camera Films. For my wonderful films. For my wonderful art. Which I just did this in Whataburger tonight. Whataburger. All the employees came over. I had all my goddamn paints out. And I'm making a painting in Whataburger. They were all shocked and amazed. One artist, Mike Messier. You can buy those on the Foreign Object eBay store. You can buy my books on MikeMessier.com. All these wonderful things. Okay, here's the other thing. You know that a movie dialogue is hitting the shitter when all the dialogue becomes fucking. Now, the Frank character at the end of the movie, every other goddamn line is, I'm gonna fucking kill this guy. I'm gonna fucking bite the vampire neck. Like, just watch it again if you haven't seen it or you have. Any movie that you watch like if the movie starts off and all the characters are saying fucking, 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 I say fucking a lot, I know, but I'm not in a movie when I'm saying that. If they're saying that from the beginning of the movie, that means the movie's gonna, it's just not well written. Like the dialogue is lazy because fucking is the crutch of a bad dialogue writer. It doesn't sound cool anymore. It's not 1994. You know what I mean? Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, that was a long fucking time ago, assholes. So now you have to be a little more goddamn creative. I mean, oh, fucking, fucking, fuck. Okay, assholes. Yes, I'm saying that in my fucking dialogues here, but this is just a review. If you're going to sit there and write a script, you can do better. Do better, as the asshole kids say. Do better. Another goddamn cliche. If you've been watching, you saw my, probably my most popular or controversial Mike's Instant Movie Review, why I didn't like Dune 2 as much as you. I go into the whole cliche of characters saying, are you okay? Or are you all right? In the middle of a fucking movie. In this, there's another cliche now, which is, I got this. Or, you got this. Watch any goddamn movie that comes out now, and if you start hearing the goddamn characters say, you got this. Or, alternatively, I got this, or we got this, then it's just horse shit. It's just lazy writing. And if this movie, it's the end of the movie when Frank does his thing. It's like we've already dealt with Frank for an hour and 55 minutes. Now we have to deal with Frank as a vampire. He becomes a vampire and he just starts saying fucking every other line. It's just laziness. It's just bad dialogue. It's not interesting. And it's just a cheap way of the character or the writer or whoever the fuck trying to make the character sound edgy and cool. Oh, you said fucking. I mean, Harvey Keitel saying fucking 30 years ago is cool. Samuel Jackson saying fucking 30 years ago is cool. Now it's just boring and horse shit, all right? There's a certain flair that you have to have for swearing. You have to swear like a goddamn Jedi master. And these fucks don't do it. They just went fucking. And that just sounds like horse shit, assholes. So anyway. So yeah, by the time, I mean, okay, also with Abigail, what's that? Okay, it started with The Exorcist, I think. Like the backward crab walk thing. It's cool, but we've just seen it a million goddamn times. You know, Bray Wyatt, the wrestler, rest in peace, did it in a goddamn match against The Undertaker at WrestleMania one year. But, like, the crab walk, when we saw it in The Exorcist, when she's going down the steps, it was the biggest fucking thing ever. We've seen it in other movies now, and it's just been done. And it's like, okay, check that off the list. You know what I mean? I don't know. I was confused because, not confused, I don't think they knew what the fuck they were doing. Yes, I know that I'm saying fuck a lot, even though I'm telling the movie not to, but it's different, because I'm just being myself, assholes. So, in the fucking, in the movie, they're like trying to figure out the vampire rules. Oh, Anne Rice vampire, Twilight vampire. Yet this movie has no rules that I could figure out for its vampires. Because, you know, this one gets bitten in the arm, the cute chick, the fucking, the computer girl, whatever her name is, Sammy, I guess. Is Sammy. She gets bitten in the arm, and it's, is she going to turn into a vampire? It's kind of, like, she kind of gets possessed by the spirit of fucking Abigail, even though Abigail's still alive and in the other room. So Abigail's kind of the puppet master of Sammy. Okay. But how come that didn't happen immediately after? What did I miss? How come Sammy was able to go into the sun for a few minutes and think she's fine, and then she's not fine? I missed something there, or I don't think it was even there. Like, however they're making up the rules as they go along. Then, towards the end, it's like, okay, Joey gets bitten by Frank, but then Frank dies, and so now Joey will not turn into a vampire because the vampire that killed her has died. Okay, I think that is actually an old school vampire rule. I'll go with that. But it did seem very at various points in the movie, I was wondering, like, okay, how come you're going to decapitate this individual or chomp this one up or kill this fucker, but you're not going to just turn them into a vampire? Like, don't vampires want to turn everybody else into a vampire? Or do they just want to kill the fuck out of them? And different movies will have different answers, but this movie seemed to have different answers. In this movie, it didn't have its own set of rules for these vampires. You know what I mean? So then it's like, okay, don't even make a vampire film then. Make some other, just zombie, whatever the fucks, you know, like just something else. I mean, I don't know. And it just, the guy, you know, who brings her food, I mean, just, like I said, 12 pounds of shit in a 10-pound bag. There's nothing like, I just feel like you could have just gotten rid of maybe the Frank storyline. Like if I were to edit this film, I would have, you know, the script or whatever, I would have just red X'd, okay, Frank does a big turn, and then we deal with Frank for 10 minutes. I think I would have just taken that out, and I just would have gone quicker to the end somehow. I probably, you know, a good way to do it is just have the Sammy character kill Frank. And, you know, something like that. So our Joey female character, it comes down to the three women, like Joey, Sammy, and I want to say Abigail, no, or I want to say Annabelle, but Abigail and Joey team up to kill Sammy. Like, put more of the focus on Sammy. You know what I mean? Like, have it be a women's vampire conclusion. Just because, like I said, we don't need this extra 20 minutes of horse shit. The movie comes in right at, like, I felt like 2 hours. It might have been an hour and 50. But I feel like it could have been a really tight, nice 90 minutes. And, like I said, I'm editing on the fly here, folks. I would have just made a few little manipulations and had Sammy kind of emerge and maybe, you know what I mean? Have Sammy do what she did with What's-His-Dick, with Peter, and then have her somehow kill Frank, and we're off to the races, and then that's it. And the guy coming back at the end, I guess you could kill him off too if you had to, but then you don't even need the father. Like I said, I feel like they felt they had to tie up all these loose ends. I don't think they really needed to. I mean, I think the filmmakers, the producers, whoever the fucks, thought that they had to make this movie tight and all the loose ends have to be tied up. No, make a horror film that's fun, assholes. It's not that hard. You got a really cool little vampire kid, you know what I mean? And you got you got a couple of attractive women with their, breasts in their shirts, you know what I mean? And you got these guys that are meat for the grinder, and that's all you need. You don't need it to be like a well-woven script where everyone gives a shit, because we don't, because you didn't make us care about the characters. So we don't need to have every loose end tied up, because you didn't make that quality of a film in the first place. So don't try to make this thing some, classic, structurally 3-act structured thing when we don't give a shit about the characters. We're just here for the killings. You know what I mean? We're here for the vampire kid to kill these assholes, and then we're done with it. And I'd rather do that in 90 minutes than 2 hours. I'm just saying. So that's my feelings on this. I mean, so I feel like, at one point I was going to give this 3 3/4. I still might. I do feel like the visuals are really great. I thought the acting was good. I mean, there's nobody, like I said, the actors can only do so much. I mean, they can't make a script better than it is. But at the same time, besides the vampire kid, nobody stood out to me as great. I thought Sammy was attractive. And the Joey was attractive, the female mom character. But I didn't think they were like so fucking profoundly awesome. I mean, there's no Nicole Kidman's in this movie. There's no whoever the fucks. It's okay. It's not great. So I feel like the movie, lesson fucking learned, folks. If you're going to make a vampire flick, make a vampire flick. Don't make fucking War and Peace, okay? That's it. MikeMessier.com. Go to my website, buy my books. If you want to see my wonderful take on this genre of vampire film, you can Go over to One Man and a Camera Films and look up Disregard the Vampire, a Mike Messier documentary. If you know me, you probably thought I'd be plugging that the whole time.